Hello, everyone. Tyler Ford here, Tucson, Arizona with eXp. And today I have Jeff Hannan with me. And we are going to be talking about why, as a broker, kind of a small broker to mid-level broker, why eXp Realty makes sense. Uh, Jeff is my enroller. He was one of the first agents here in Tucson, Arizona. He saw the vision of eXp early on and the value for what it provided. And Jeff was a broker. And there's so many different benefits as to why eXp Realty makes sense for brokers. And I'm going to interview Jeff, and we're just going to talk about all the different benefits eXp makes for brokers. So welcome, Jeff.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Cool. So the first question I want to ask, I mean, you were a solo broker
Right?
and you were a broker for what, 14 years?
Yeah, basically like the month I qualified to get my broker's license, I got it and started my own brokerage as just a solo broker, never recruited any agents.
And so, I mean, you were an early adopter to eXp, and as a broker and a solo broker, why could you not move over quick enough? I mean, tell us your story.
Well, I had my own brokerage. It was Hannan Realty, had my name on it. It was my baby. A lot of ego involved in that. And over the years, I talked to people about potentially partnering and doing some joint ventures. And my wife always shot it down. She's super conservative, doesn't like change. And when I found eXp Realty and I showed it to her, it was literally 45 minutes later. She's like, I don't see any downside. Let's just do this. And I was on the phone. I was on the phone with the state broker at the time, Jim Newth, like, sign me up. I got to join this company. So yeah, to me, it was a total no brainer. And we could talk about, everything I gained and everything I lost, and lost in a good way, really.
Right.
So
what are when you switched over right out of the gate, what are the things that you gained?
So got access to kvCORE. We both kind of have a similar story on kvCORE, that we were going to be paying for it anyway. At eXp, it's included. So that cuts out $500 a month right off the bat. That could be applied to lead gen and other stuff.
Well, and explain. So kvCORE, for those listening, some people may or may not know. A lot of people have heard of Boomtown, but kvCORE is what is called an IDX, which stands for Internet Data Exchange. Zillow is an IDX. And the cost of Boomtown, kvCORE, things like that, for most people, it's a mortgage payment or a car payment. And it was one of my big motivating factors. The minute I came over to eXp, I was paying for it. I reduced my expenses by $500 a month. And,
right.
and you were using it prior to coming over as well. So the minute you came over to eXp, it was covered. You didn't have to pay for it anymore.
I actually wasn't using it. I was getting ready to buy it. And that's how I found eXp, because just doing my Googling, doing my last minute research, because, you got to commit for a year and give them a credit card, and it's $500 a month. So I just want to make sure it was the right product for me. And it is, I love it. But doing my Googling, I saw eXp Realty gives other agents kvCORE for free. And that made me click and look at the website. And that by itself would not have made me join, because, I'm saving $6,000 a year, but now I'm paying a 20% split, and I have, some fees involved that I don't have as my own broker. But looking at everything else they offered, it just became obvious that I needed to join.
Right. And as a broker, you've got agents, within your brokerage. If you were to switch over and bring those agents, they get kvCORE as well, which helps in their production, which then helps in rev share to offset, some of the things. So in terms of the things that you keep, kvCORE, what are some other big things?
So the two big things for me were stock. So, I had my own brokerage for 14 years, did pretty well. I had zero equity in that brokerage after 14 years. I couldn't have sold it to anybody. They wouldn't have bought it because I was the brokerage. At eXp, all of our agents are shareholders. You get shares of eXp stock for certain production and agent attraction marks, and you can buy stock at a discount out of every commission. So we're not really supposed to talk numbers and dollar amounts with stock, but it's been great. I've got a lot of stock, and it's worth a lot.
Right. Yeah. So you're a shareholder in the company. And so the other question too, a lot of people are probably asking, like, because like you said at the beginning, having your own brokerage, your name, you've got a lot of into that, and you've built a brand, and there is some ego involved just because it's hard to give that up. If somebody comes over, can they keep a lot of that branding? How does that work in terms of
Absolutely. It
their
just,
name?
you keep your colors, you keep your logo, you keep your sign design, but it's just going to be your name, brokered by eXp Realty. So um, whatever your name was, you
Mm-hmm.
just add on brokered by eXp Realty. You're good to go. We love our agents to keep their individualized branding.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so talk about this one. This one to me is a big thing. I'm not a broker. I've been a licensed agent for 30 years, but whether you're an agent or a broker in real estate, liability is huge, and it's bigger on the broker side. And I see the big value as just reducing liability. And, they might think they're giving up a lot of money in terms of what they're making off agents, but the liability alone, but what you make up in rev share and a lot of other things. Talk a little bit about, the liability side and kind of reducing that liability when
Sure.
coming over to eXp.
So having my own brokerage for 14 years, I was scared to death of bringing on an agent and getting sued. I mean, you'll do deals with some agents and you're like, oh, wow, I'm glad I'm not their broker. Like, what are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
And so I never recruited any agents, but it always bothered me. Like, how am I going to scale? Am I going to be showing houses in a walker when I'm in my 70s? Or, I need an exit plan. So I would just waver back and forth. And then coming to eXp, immediately I could start scaling by bringing on agents, but I wasn't going to be their broker. So I don't review their contracts. My license is not on the line if they mess up. I don't have to pay for office space. I don't have to pay for an accountant. I don't have to, provide tech support. All of that's done with eXp's 400 employees in the cloud office. It's off. All that work is offloaded and all the liability is offloaded. And I can still support my agents. I mean, as you know, I answer my phone or text or emails. Like, I help everybody, but I don't have to do the boring stuff. I can do the fun stuff, help people grow their business.
Well, and it seems to me like a lot of brokers, that's why they're brokers. They like doing that, but they get bogged down in the minutia of all the other stuff and even liability. So, they can do all that stuff without the liability and have fun doing it, but they can really scale. And the beauty of it is they get rev share. And as a broker, depending on the size of your broker, you can immediately bring, the majority of everybody over. So now you've got rev share. So touch a little bit, because I don't know, a lot of people get it. So if you're a broker, let's say you had, 20, 25 agents in your brokerage. If you switched over, you got the majority to come with. What does that look like? They're going to be giving something up, but they're going to be gaining a lot more. So talk more in depth about rev share and how that works.
So with revenue share at eXp, you're going to make less per agent, most likely, for the agents you bring over, but you're going to have much more scalability, both by your agents recruiting and you being able to recruit outside of your geographical area. If I was in Tucson and I wanted to open up an office in San Diego, I would have to find somebody to manage that and get my license there and all that. With eXp, if I know somebody that's a solid agent in San Diego and we connect, I can bring them to the company. And now I've scaled to a different city without having to do all that stuff. So I've got 81 agents right now, I think, in 5 states. And I didn't bring over those 81 agents. I brought over 13 of them. Those 13 brought over 18. Those 18 brought over 24. Those 24 brought over 15, and so on. So,
and the beauty too is you don't have to be licensed. You only need one license,
yes.
Compared to some competitors. If you're going to have rev share in different states, you got to be licensed in that state. Or I shouldn't say rev share, profit share, which is a huge difference. But for us, you just need one license and you can recruit anywhere in the US and world as they begin to open up different markets.
Yeah,
and
I think
that's huge.
This morning, they just announced Hong Kong. I think we've gone into like 7 or 8 states over the last 12 months, or 7 or 8 different countries over the last 12 months. And the great thing is, with our cloud-based campus, we didn't have to go get office space there. Our director of global growth hasn't gotten on an airplane once in the last 12 months. And he's opened 7 countries. It's ridiculous. But yeah, all of your agents are incentivized because you're giving them the same opportunity that you have as a broker owner to go attract agents to the company. And if they bring on agents, that benefits you as well because we pay out 7 levels on our revenue share.
Right. So that's huge. I just, and the and at the end of the day too, they have a lifestyle. They've got freedom, flexibility. They're not tied. They're not tied to the phones answering brokerage questions. And it just, to me, the one thing in life you can't get back is time.
Mm-hmm.
And by switching over, I would just think you get so much more time back in terms of your life and still being able to run it somewhat similar to a brokerage without the liability. I'm just kind of, these are the big, and
Absolutely.
then the time that you gain uh, in doing it and not having to deal with 24/7 dealing with all the phone call stuff.
Oh, all that's offloaded. We have great broker support that are everybody's accessible, like
Mm-hmm.
within minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all the accounting, the tech, we have a great tech support. They can just take over your laptop and fix stuff. It's like, you're not paying for all that. You're not answering those questions. Um, it takes a little training. Like when you joined, you kept coming to me, and finally I said, go with the eXp world, and you were blown away. Like, they solved your problem faster than I could have, and it it took it off my plate. So now when I bring on a new agent, I do take them to eXp world, like, kind of first thing, so they see how awesome it is and they
I
use
didn't
it.
get it. And so, EXP, we can say eXp world, we can sit here and talk about it. It's phenomenal. And I didn't get it until I kept bugging Jeff, and Jeff kept saying, go to eXp world. So finally I logged in, and within seconds I had my question answered. It's a virtual cloud uh, platform where you're an avatar, you log in, you're talking to somebody face to face, whether it's a broker related issue, kvCORE, technical question. Uh, I mean, there's a huge list of tons of different categories that you can log into eXp world and
Plus the
get.
training.
Yeah, training.
There's over 50 hours of top level training taught by our icon agents. So that's another thing you lose. You don't have to go train your agents
Right.
anymore, but
Well,
you can.
cool. I mean, it's a big list. If somebody, I'm going to just throw out a phone number. So Jeff enrolled me. We're working together, as a team, helping small brokerages, brokers, individual agents coming on over to eXp. We're committed to help. Jeff's been a great mentor, and like he said, he's available all the time, and we're here to help. So if somebody wanted to reach out to us, what's your phone number, Jeff? How can somebody connect with you?
My cell is 520-349-8766.
And how somebody could reach me is they could go to Tucson Homes and Lots. I've got a contact form on my website, or they could give me a call. My phone number is 520-775-3400. So that wraps it up. I mean, anything you'd like to add? It's a total no brainer for me. Just looking at it from, if you're a small to medium sized broker coming over to eXp, I mean, there's so many advantages and benefits. I mean, can you think of anything we missed?
Yeah, there's tons of stuff I'm sure that we didn't mention.
Oh,
The iBuyer program.
We'll talk about Icon Agent. This one's big because
Icon Agent.
because they're going to hit Icon.
Yes. So somebody who does enough production, so which is capping, which is about 2.7 million in volume, and then they do 20 more deals during that year, the company gives them $16,000 worth of company stock, which is their whole cap back in company stock, with some vesting periods that are different, and the caveat that you give back to the company by either teaching a training or being on a mastermind, something like that. So those are called our icon agents, and that's where a lot of our training comes from, is these top level people that are selling hundreds of houses a year, sharing their secrets.
Yeah, that one to me is big, and we totally missed it, because any small to mid-level broker, especially a mid-level broker, just bringing agents over, and I just, for the most part, they're probably going to hit that, I would imagine. But
Yes.
that one's big, especially if they're working as a team, kind of a hybrid type of model, where some of those agents within their brokerage are part of the team. They could structure it, and that's where Jeff and I could help. structuring it properly to help get you to Icon Agent right out of the gate.
Yep, absolutely.
Cool. Well, awesome, Jeff. I appreciate it. And yeah, so if you're a small broker, mid-level broker, reach out to us. We'd love to help.
Great. Thanks.